Hello sweet team, welcome back to my channel. This is Sweet Ajele. I am so excited to be with you all today, and I hope everyone is doing wonderfully well. In today's video, I share with you all 6 easy ways to peel, prep and store your black eyed beans ready for your Koose, moi moi or Akara. Let's get right into this video. We begin by soaking our beans. And I'll be soaking mine overnight. Now, if you don't have overnight, you may soak it for at least 4 hours to ensure that the skin is nice and soft to come off easily. So this is the next day. My beans is nice, it is ready, the skin is literally coming off. So our first method is the blender method. We'll add the beans into the blender, add enough water so that the beans will be floating all over. Then using the pulse motion, we attempt to take the skin off. As you noticed, I only used the pulse button twice, and now I'm just going to pour the water out since the skin should be floating on top of it for the most part. And I'm pouring it through my strainer because I'll be reusing the water, so I'm not using my sink to waste water. I'll then pour it into a bowl, add some more water. I'll give it a stir to help the skin settle on top of it, and then I'll pour it out. Now the downside about using a blender is that it may crush the skin and the beans. Okay, so you will get some of the skin coming off, but separating it will take you a bit longer, and you will see why I say that while you watch the other methods that I use to do this. Okay, so you just pour the water back into the beans and then you decant it. You keep back and forth until you no longer have any more skin. Now, if I'm not able to get everything, I use a white plate like this. I spread it on it and then I go searching for the black eyes or any skin, because the blender or food processor actually crushed up a lot of the beans together with the eyes and the skin. So this is our first method. Not my favorite, but if it is yours, these are some of the things you have to look out for. Maybe if you use a regular blender, it may not cut it up as much, but this is what I got. It's not bad, it's ready. The second method will be using a grater, and all I do is to scoop some of the beans into my palm and rub it on the grater, the larger part. You can use the small part, but I prefer this side of the grater. And as you can see, it took off the skin and the beans is intact. The only thing you notice is that it's split in half, but the two halves are not crushed up. And all I do is to rub it gently over the grater. So as you see, I'm not adding too much pressure. It's a little bit of pressure, but not too much to cut me or crush up the beans. And just look at this one, it's beautifully off, and my beans is not all over the place, it's not crushed into little pieces. So this way I can just be pouring the skin off much easier than it was with the blender method for me. Sometimes we're just stuck in our ways and we like certain things, so we try others and we don't care for it too much. But yeah, this have been my go-to method for years, and I thought let me share that with you because it may just help somebody. So we follow the same process of pouring water in and out like we did with the first one, and we will be done with this method. This one actually takes me less time than the blender does. Blender have never been my favorites at all. And this is what it looks like. It is nice and ready. Now let's move on to our next method. Number 3, you need a and ato. So this one right here is just like a regular earthen pot, only it's made out of metal. So you're going to scoop some of your beans into it, and with your ato or pesto going in a circular or a grinding motion, you create friction between the beans and the pot, which will cause the skin to come off. A huge shout out to my girl Realistic Sue. I learned this from her channel. I had never seen this or heard of it before, and when I tried it, it was amazing. It was as easy as the grating method, and I absolutely love it. Yes, girl, thank you for sharing that video. I really appreciated it. I tried it, it worked. I'll leave her link in the description box so you all can go check her out. She has some natural remedies that you will absolutely love. So yeah, in case you have more skin, just add a little bit of water. Go right ahead and use the ato to rub over it to create the friction, like I said, which will help separate it. This method is amazing. I absolutely love it.
Continental food, madam. International food cartoon.
And there you have it. Isn't it perfect? This idea is so neat. But if you don't have these tools, you can use your potato masher. Yes, I figured, why don't I try other things around the house to see if my sweet team members that don't have kakato in their homes can also do it. And my potato masher did the job just right. Oh my goodness. And I even tried it using my strainer. I just put the beans in the strainer and sat it in water and rubbed it with the potato masher or a ladle, and it worked perfectly. Just ensure that your beans have soaked well enough for the skin to come off. You may soak your beans for a shorter period of time, but sometimes when I do that, the skin does not come off as easily as I would like it to. So I prefer my overnight method, because after all, I do it, go to sleep, and the next morning it is ready. So as you can see, the potato masher was not even playing, and it did an amazing job. Like, I am so impressed with it. Can you see what the potato masher did? I am super impressed with it. So don't worry if you don't have kakato. You can do this. You can do this. Method number 5 is my lazy day go-to method, and trust me, y'all, it is amazing. Pour everything into your stand mixer. Start it with the whisk attachment. I haven't tried the paddle attachment. It may work as well, but I used the whisk attachment and just went about my business. By the time I came back, the skin was coming off. And you can use your hand mixer as well, but that one you will have to stand there. Don't blame me. This one was so easy. It just kept going and going and going, and by the time I lifted the stand mixer up, the skin was off. I was super duper happy. I just decided, I'm feeling so lazy today, let me try this method, and it worked. And why not share with my sweet team members? Of course, they have to know. So I'll use the same process to get rid of the skin, and that will be that. So 6th and final method, y'all already know it, rubbing it in between your palm. This is how I learned to make Koose, and it takes a while, but I prefer that over the blender. I'm telling you, just rub it in between your palm, keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and it will come off nice and easy, just like the other ones, and your beans will still be intact, making it easy for you to get rid of the skin. Just see how nice it worked. Oh, our hands. Thank God for them. And ta-da! Is it Koose you want to make? Akara or moi moi? No stress of peeling the skin. So now let's prep and store. I'll be dehydrating some, and to keep it from going right through my rack, I'll be lining the rack with some parchment paper. So I first fold it into a square, then into a triangular shape. Then I'll cut the middle part off by measuring it with the circle over there. So I'm just going to lay it over the circle and I'll cut it so that it'll fit perfectly. Lay it on the rack and trim off any excess that will be on the sides. I'll then spread out my beans, ensuring that it's nice and flat. Cover it, set my dehydrator to 115 degrees Fahrenheit and leave it out overnight, at least 12 hours. This should be nice and dry. If you don't have a dehydrator, you may use your oven at the same temperature or leave it out in the sun to dry nicely. Just cover it to keep the flies away. Now, you can also just bag them up and keep in your freezer. So I just portioned them out to the amounts that we are going to eat, and I put them in a Ziploc bag like this. When you zip it though, leave a little room, insert it in cold water like this, and the water takes out any excess air that's in the bag, causing it to be airtight. Okay, it takes out all the air so that your beans will be airtight, preventing freezer burn. So you see, this is airtight. There is no air anywhere. Free vacuum sealer, I tell you. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process, but I'll leave one out so we can compare the two together.
International food captain, we'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, banku and okra soup, sushi and pastries, all this and more, sweet
So with this last one, I'm just attempting to take all the air out without inserting it in the water, just to show you all what it both looks like side by side. As you can see, it's still moving, and the one that I inserted in the water isn't moving. So it is a neat idea. Please try that with all your other things that you store in your freezer and you will really love it. I then put everything in a bigger bag, keep it in my freezer until I'm ready to use it. You can also date it, okay? This is my beans. It's nice and dry. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it into my blender, and I'm going to blend it until it is nice and smooth. You may leave it like that, just keep it in your cabinet, and whenever you want to make your Koose, Akara or moi moi, you can just go ahead and soak it and go about your business. But I wanted to make beans flour, which will serve the same purpose anyway. Okay, so yeah, choose how you want to store it. It's perfectly fine. I'm just going to quickly sift it to get rid of any parts that aren't as smooth as I would like it. And that is it. Do not forget to tell me which method is your favorite in the comment section. I hope this helped somebody out there. If it did, give your girl a thumbs up because I will really appreciate it, and it helps my video out a lot. Also, do not forget to share and subscribe if you have not done that yet. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. This is Sweet Ajele. Thank you so much for subscribing. And to the sweet team, y'all know I love you. Until I see you in my next video, stay safe, keep loving each other, and remember that the love of God and family is life's greatest blessing. And guys, ke onamini ochemi sweet mahabotu. Bye y'all.
All this and more, sweeter J. Go go, go go, gaga, go, sweeter J. Go go, go go, gaga, go, sweeter J.